I'm Yuri.
I'm Jacob.
And we're going for a drive. '21 Chevy Silverado.
1500 RST without launch control. Yo, this thing rips.
Horsepower and torque.
420 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque from my 6.2 liter V8.
So I think not having launch control and having a lot of power in rear-wheel drive with traction off is almost more fun.
And if you're watching this video and you haven't yet subscribed, subscribe and hit the bell.
Okay, so I previously drove a Trail Boss Silverado when I was out in Prince Edward Island, but we never did a full review on that, just Instagram stuff. Do you think this looks better than that?
I personally do, because I don't really like any of these front ends, but I think this one looks a little better than that.
I think that one looks better because it was all blacked out, and that was the same one that got helicoptered in like 7 years ago when we went to the launch of this thing in Dallas, Texas.
It definitely wasn't 7 years ago, but yes, that did happen and we went to that.
So let's carry that on to the looks of this.
Yeah, I definitely don't like these headlights.
They're kind of okay, but you can't have the DRLs on when you're parked. It'll have the headlights on with it.
Yeah, I just think the Tahoe definitely looks better, even though it's a very similar headlight.
Yeah, the Tahoe definitely does look better than this, but we got a cool grille pattern in there and everything, and it's got some nice texture, and even in the headlights, we've got that carbon fiber texture.
Yeah, it's kind of cool to see the carbon fiber. Totally did not expect that.
Well, it's not carbon fiber.
Well, it's not real.
It's plastic that's shaped like carbon fiber. And then we got those cool little vents that go through with all the little shapes on the corner of the bumper.
Yeah, very aerodynamic, and they are real. And looking up on the hood, yes, we do have the rally package for $10,000, which gets us those racing stripes. There's a bunch of other stuff, but that is part of the package.
As long as it's just not, as long as it's not just the racing stripes.
Yeah, no, there is other stuff, but it's all like appearance. So moving around to the side, we got some 22-inch big boys on this thing, and I think it looks pretty good blacked out.
It didn't even stand out to me at all, and I didn't really even notice the wheels. But what would be the Continental recommended tires for the Silverado?
The Terrain Contact HT.
And now moving on to the body lines, I do think the Silverado has very good body lines. The way it kind of goes up and around the front over the front fender and goes around. It doesn't pop in all lighting conditions, but when it pops really hard.
And then we have these big side steps, which I think you'd get hung up on if you did take this off-road, but they're definitely comfortable for getting in and out.
And then moving on to the back end, we have Chevrolet written across the tailgate, and we got more stripy stripes.
Yeah, racing stripes on a truck in 2020 or 2021.
But this actually feels like a truck that deserves racing stripes.
It kind of does, yeah.
And then if we look up at the very top of the cab, we'll see that there is like a little thing that sticks out that's kind of like a spoiler but squared off, and I think that looks really cool.
Yeah, and there's also a camera hidden in there, which we'll talk about in the interior, and I really like that camera.
And then we got a step to look into the back of the truck bed. Everything back there is pretty normal, and we have a button inside where we can drop the tailgate.
Yeah, and it's extremely well damped and super easy to also put it back up, which is very nice.
And then moving down to the bottom, we've got cool looking exhaust tips, but they're 2020 real, so they're not connected. And then you can see the mufflers below, they come down and then back up. It's kind of like, black that out.
But we should also take a listen to the outside.
It is average.
Sounds like a V8-ish. It definitely needs the aftermarket. Well, I guess you can get an optional exhaust for this and an intake, and I would probably highly recommend that.
And the taillights are pretty average. They're just the normal Silverado ones. So overall, looks-wise, okay looking truck. Definitely not your favorite. Definitely not my favorite.
Yeah, so it's just average.
But I do think the Silverados look pretty good with the full front black. And the work trucks that they're selling, which are base model white with the black front, I think also looks pretty cool for a work truck.
I just like that they named it work truck because it's very appropriate.
Is that what it's actually called?
Yes.
That probably helps the accounting department for tax reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
It says work in the name.
Yeah.
So now for a little boot through cliche corner. It was like wants to drift on me.
Yeah, dude. If you turn off traction, it will do that.
It's pretty fun. It feels like just like a rear-wheel drive, old school kind of vehicle.
Yeah, it's like a proper feeling street truck. I'm sure you can take this slightly off-road, but with these wheels and tires, I wouldn't recommend it, especially with these side steps, but it rips on the road.
I'm just like so surprised. It would be cool if they made it lower in like an actual street truck, but I think they did a good job. And this does have sport mode, normal and off-road, and I was in sport for that.
Yeah, and this engine I think feels better, and it actually does have more horsepower than the F-150 comparable one and the Ram 1500 V8.
But we got no paddles for shifting, just on the column, which we will never use because that's crazy.
Yeah,
unless you're going like downhill or something.
Yeah, exactly. So let's start on the interior with my favorite feature. It's called fart mode. It's not actually called that, but watch this. It drops all four windows at once. Yeah, fart mode. You can't put them back up with that.
Oh my God.
You got to do it over there. But I accidentally discovered that.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Too bad it doesn't do the sunroof and the rear glass that also slides.
Yeah.
And then one of my favorite features is that we have that secret compartment in the back seats, in the seat back.
Oh, I totally actually forgot about that too.
And in the back, the bottom of the back seats go up, but the top don't go down.
Yeah, and there is a ton of room back there, super comfortable.
And I guess we can plow through the normal stuff. Same GM infotainment that pretty much everything has rewinding satellite radios, has Apple CarPlay, has Android Auto.
But we do have very high-res reverse cameras and the bed camera, which is super convenient to have. And then we can also zoom in on the trailer hitch, but there are no 360 cameras on this one.
Yeah, I like having 360 cameras. And you found a hack for keeping the camera on while driving, right?
Yeah, so if you press the camera button while driving, it'll let you do 8 seconds. But if you cycle through the different views, you keep getting a refreshed 8 seconds. So theoretically, it's unlimited.
Hacker man.
Yeah, I know.
And then moving on to our gauge cluster, it's like super base. We've got like analog tach on the left, analog speedo on the right, and the smallest screen in the middle. But I see my speed, I see how much fuel is left. For a truck, I don't really care.
Exactly. Like, I don't need a super LCD screen like every other truck's getting. These are very efficient for just knowing what you're seeing and what information you're getting.
But we probably feel that way because of the way the interior is. If it was a Ram interior, we'd expect a whole lot more.
Yeah, because generally this interior is quite plasticky. It's definitely not a premium feeling interior, just like the Ram.
But it's not bad in any sense. Like if you just needed to have a truck.
Yeah, and it's very open feeling. I like that, but just some of the materials here and there are definitely plasticky.
Oh, and then the last thing about the interior that I want to talk about, you showed me that when you're in Android Auto and you scroll through the radio stations with the tuning knob,
yeah, it's really bad.
It like throws up a different screen, takes so much time to flip in between. Like all you need to do is make whatever channel up here and song just switch. That's it. You don't need to like change the screens or anything.
You don't need a separate animation.
Whoever is in charge of that did an awful job.
Agree.
Hit me up on LinkedIn. Explain to me why you had no choice. You're a Territion.
Time for me to drive?
Yes.
Burnout mode. Dude. I have a really good time driving this truck solely because of the engine and the transmission.
It's so refreshing being able to floor it and have the tires square. Like I feel like I'm in an 80s cop movie all over again.
Yeah, like it just does exactly what I want it to do, exactly what I expect it to do. I'm not going to be inhibited by some stupid electronics because I just turn off the traction and it does what I want it to do.
And even driving it is very nice. Like you don't move from left to right on the road or anything. It just drives straight. It's easy. There's nothing weird about it.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite as comfortable as an F-150 or even a Ram, especially a Ram with air suspension, but it's not uncomfortable. It's just those are the comparable trucks, and that's how I feel about those. And this 10-speed auto is really good. We enjoyed it in the Tahoe, but I find that this one downshifts a lot faster. So if I was just to rip it, like it downshifts pretty quick in here, and then you get all that friggin' torque. Like it's quick. And you mentioned the drive modes. On top of that, we obviously have 2 high, 4 high, and 4 low. All of our buttons are all on the left. It's pretty convenient to use. Yeah,
this interior, the buttons, the layout and everything, it's pretty much exactly the Yukon. It's pretty much exactly the Tahoe, except slightly different positioning, but it's all the same stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like the button layout is just slightly different, but all the button types and qualities and everything is the same. Except we still have this column shifter.
Yeah, column shifters jokes.
Yeah, and the steering feels pretty good. No real issues with it. It's definitely pretty light.
And before you go through Cliche Corner, let's do a quick little visor test.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Yes. Ooh.
That slid a little too easily.
I know.
It does fit a medium cup. I don't have a small cup today, so I guess we'll never know.
And we don't have any fancy wireless charging or anything like that down here. It's just pretty basic. Lots of storage though, which is nice.
Ton.
So time for a traction off send through Cliche Corner. And yeah, there's body roll. It is a friggin' truck, but I mean, it feels pretty good. I don't feel like I'm slowing down, and with the traction off, it's definitely not cutting too much power or anything like that, and rips pretty hard.
Okay, I think the Jeep's handled through Cliche better, but this wants to kick it out a lot more.
Yeah, this is a lot bigger, and I feel better in this because I love this powertrain so much more than that Jeep V6.
I felt better through Cliche in the Jeeps. I felt more planted where this wants to slide.
Yeah, I agree. Even though we were in rear-wheel drive for both vehicles, like this one and the Jeep.
And I guess we can end it off with the seats. Are they comfortable?
Very comfortable. Considering they're cloth seats, they're not like overly bolstered or anything like that. I could see doing a long road trip having no issues in these.
And you've got electronic controls and lumbar on that side where I do not. And lastly, the sound system is very good at a loud volume.
Yeah, so overall, this is a pretty good truck.
Let's get to the price.
And that's where it falls apart. This one starts at $50,798
Canadian.
and if you add this stupid rally stripe package and all this other crap that's on here, this one is $70,673.
Yeah, but this is a different looking truck and it is fast. So you're paying money for something that no one else really has.
Yeah, I'd say just get this, delete the stupid package for $10,000, and you got yourself a pretty good truck for a pretty good price and just get an exhaust for it.
Yeah, but you get color match bumpers with this.
Yeah, you do.
So let us know what you think of this Silverado. Can it compete with Ram and F-150s? These are going to be a Raptor / T-Rex version. Will we even get to drive it? Because we haven't driven the T-Rex yet, or a new Raptor in like 4 years.
Yeah, so watch some of our other truck reviews right here. Yeah, just click right here. Truck playlist. That's right.
Which camera are we looking at?
I usually look at this one.
Darn.